Thank you for joining me today, Shane. Let me introduce to you guys Shane Gentry. Shane is a dog trainer extraordinaire, founder, owner, and came up with everything to do with Sally Said So, which is a premier dog training group. It was just one dog training area in Raleigh, but that is now extended, and he's going to tell us about that. I met Shane at a veterinary conference because I saw this pop up tent and there was pink everywhere. And I said, I got to go see this guy. And his personality just took over, and he told me the craziest story. So, Shane, first, you have to tell folks, if I understand right, you were originally driving a truck for Papa John's Pizza,
Yeah.
and then I said, well, how did you become the Shane Gentry here at a veterinary conference, and not only a dog trainer but owner of now how many places?
We got 15 full-time dog trainers, 4 locations, cover basically all of North Carolina, and moving into South Carolina next year.
Wow.
Come on.
So how did you decide I am getting out of the Papa John's truck and starting up a dog training business?
So, depends on how long you want this podcast to go. So, it was really
Medium version.
medium version, right? So, yeah, before I was at Papa John's, I was actually a concrete pump operator for about 13 years. And that was just a horrible, horrible. It's a hard living. Just
Manual labor.
big time. And
Okay.
hours, just time. I mean, for perspective, my first year pumping concrete, I made $64,000 that year. I was making $10 an hour.
That's a lot of hours, man.
So I did end up getting out of that business. Um, I found myself at Papa John's. I was actually driving tractor trailer, stocking stores up and down the East Coast out at night. I got injured, and I wasn't able to go back. So the transition from there to dog training obviously is a big jump. But I've always been a complete behavior nerd. Even no matter what, when I was a little kid, if there was a critter around, I was going to talk to it. I was always fascinated with communicating with the aliens. It was like they don't think like we think, they don't emote like we emote, they can't speak to us. I mean, there's so many variables in between us establishing communication with them that really it was just curiosity more than anything. So I would always find my way to the result. If I was going for a specific response, just trying to be creative. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. Uh, it was working, but the thing that I ended up doing was amassing this giant pile of how. But the one thing that makes somebody in this particular business and others complete is the why. I didn't have that part. So this whole thing goes down with and over the years, I when I was young, I had a prairie dog. I taught it how to walk on a leash. I've trained a goat. I trained a couple of pigs just to see if I could do it, and successful. So the transition into Sally Said So was really just a massive universe message. I don't know how else to explain it. So I was on workers' comp at the time, and I had amassed about $3,500 worth of bills, not drawing a full paycheck. Uh, I had just gotten my tax return that year. It was about $3,500, and it just so
Mm.
happened that my first tuition to animal behavior college to become a dog trainer, $3,500. so,
Mm.
needless to say, the bills went in the burn pile in the backyard, set them on fire, paid my tuition to animal behavior college, and Shazam, Andy,
Oh.
here we go. So that's how it started originally.
So it started with a
Yes. there's still a lot of that, as an entrepreneur yourself. There's never a moment where you're not in mode. You go over the mountains and oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing it. Oh no, what's going on? I'm gonna think about it. Oh no.
So from that point in time to now, how long has Sally Said So been going?
That was 2009. So we are 16 years in business now. And since day one, veterinarian exclusively referred.
That's interesting.
Yes, sir.
So oftentimes trainers, it's kind of like the direct to consumer deal where we see the commercials on TV that say, "Hey, I'm pretty sure you need this drug. Now go ask your doctor about it."
Right.
Right. But for what was your first thought behind how do I decide to introduce this to veterinarians rather than go into a dog park and saying, "Boy, look at all the untrained dogs. I'm going to hand out cards."
So 2 points to that answer. First one was complete total accident. So here I am. I've got now the first 6 months of Sally Said So. I was sleeping in my car. That was the dedication level. Once I knew always I was going to be self-employed, and I knew I was going to do this. I didn't know how. I didn't know. I didn't know what the GPS. Like I knew there was a coordinate out here I needed to get to. I didn't know my GPS was broken though. I didn't know how I was going to get there. So the universe, that story that was the first point in the GPS. The second part was here I am. I've got a skill set. I've got a business card. I've got everything I need to be successful except clients. So I walked into Clayton Animal Hospital 16 years ago and said, "Hey, y'all, my name's Shane, and I can make dogs do stuff." That was literally my opening line. Every receptionist at the counter went straight to the computer like this. Or like, "Oh, no, not another dog trainer, not another dog trainer. Like, put your crap on the shelf over there. Put it on the shelf over there." And I was like, I was like, okay. I didn't know what to expect when I walked in. Total cold call. One of the techs spoke up. She said, "Hey, I've got a dog. I've tried every trainer in town. I can't solve the problem." So I said, "What are you doing after work? I'll come to your house and show you." So I went to her house that same day after work. I solved the problem in one session. And she went back to work the next morning and told them I wasn't crazy and that I solved their problem. And my phone started ringing. And so that was the initial sort of thing. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. I never thought, look, my initial, after that thing happened, it started to put it into perspective because I was like, look, I don't have a budget. I don't even have income. I don't even have a house. So how am I going to market this? How am I going to get to public? Yeah, how many people are that make up public? That's a big, giant, broad spectrum. But guess what? Every one of those people in public that have a dog go to their veterinarian. So
Not all of them.
well, not a large. So it really,
But yeah, that's where dogs are.
yeah.
Dogs are at veterinary
So I
hospitals,
was
and
like,
they
well, if I
often will need your help.
right, I was
They
like,
often ask us for the pill, but the pill alone, we know,
yeah,
doesn't do it unless you combine it with
right,
some expertise and some training.
no
Sometimes you
total,
need that assistance to get that, to get a little bit longer of a attention span
sure,
so you can do your work. But the goal with the pills or the medicines is for them to become not necessary over time.
correct,
So that's why we need to partner with folks like you.
absolutely. So my mission became just introducing myself to veterinarians. So that started with every day I woke up at 8 a.m. and I left my house and I went. Well, I was up early, but I left my house at 8 a.m. and I didn't come home till 5 o'clock. And I would hit every single veterinarian that I had enough gas money to reach. And sometimes I'd see them on my way out, and I'd stop and see them again on the way back just to make sure they didn't forget my face. We did free training, which we still do 16 years later. We don't charge vet staff for training. I still firmly believe in let me earn your business. Let me show you what we do so you can refer it legitimately, not just my friend said this was awesome place or I had them to my house. I saw it for myself. I've seen the results. And we
Mm,
we
mm.
still do that to this day.
if someone in there has had the experience, they're coming from a different type of. That's more of a case study than a testimonial.
Yeah.
Because I can say Shane's a great guy, but if I can say Shane fixed my problem,
Yes.
that's different.
Yes. And
So another question
you a
for you:
subscription, basically.
you have now grown from going into veterinary practices to being a CE approved provider for veterinary hours, an exhibitor, not only a vendor at the that supports the veterinary world by your funds going into these what the vendors call like the trade show stuff, but it's at the big C's like the NCVC,
Sure.
and you're also on the board of directors, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct. So the trajectory there was pretty neat. We are literally one of one. We are the only CE approved dog trainer in North Carolina.
Hmm?
We are also race approved, which is the Registry of Approved Continuing Education. For those listening that might not know what that is, that is.
I learned that one.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It's not easy.
yeah. I wonder. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yep,
And to navigate.
did it.
So we're CE approved through the North Carolina Veterinary Medical Board.
Mm-hmm.
We're race approved through the Registry of Approved Continuing Education, the American Association of Veterinary State Boards. So what that is nationwide accreditation. So from time to time, it doesn't happen very often, but stuff like this, doing your podcast, and hopefully leading to others. Part of my next step of my career is more speaking engagements in places outside of North Carolina, which I've done a few. Spoken at the South Carolina Vet Conference before. We've done CE for veterinarians in Kansas, I think Kansas, Kentucky, a couple other places I can't remember off the top of my head. Texas, and then I'm also the industry council president for the North Carolina Veterinary Medical Association. So all three of those. Never has the North Carolina Veterinary Medical Board approved a dog trainer for CE presentation to veterinarians, which now we have 8 hours of CE to offer vets. Now, look, the little old dog trainer from Clayton now can give you almost half of your hours a year. You know,
That's quite impressive.
thank you. And now we have it's been long enough for the imposter syndrome to go away. It's At first I was like, I can't believe I'm in this room. There's the dean of the vet school. There's Merck. There's Zoetis. There's, oh my God, like who don't fit here, right? And now, think over the years of that's gone away, and I'm legitimately part of the team now. It really feels good to be not just to have accomplished those things, but for somebody like yourself, if you're looking at dog trainers, man, there's a dime a dozen. They're on every street corner. They're doing it for $25. The dog training business is unregulated. There are certifications all over the place, but some are a little bit more prevalent than others. But reality, there's no regulations on it. So the reason that we push these limits and do these innovative things is to make it as legit as possible for somebody like yourself to trust the referral. You know,
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
accountability.
So one of my questions for you was in the big sea of dog trainers, what separates Sally Said So and your group in North Carolina and going to be further along from the rest of the fish in the sea of the dog training world? I think you explained a lot of what separates yourself into the types of training that you've gotten into and the veterinary focus. But you were also telling me that your trainers have to go through a very particular and pretty extensive individual. You almost need your own Sally Said So certification for the type of training that they have to do before they train for you. Can you
Absolutely.
tell me a little bit about that?
Certainly. If they, before they put this shirt on and go represent what I've built over the last 16 years, you can bet your bottom dollar that they are well trained, educated, compassionate, and passionate about what they're doing. As far as the training program goes, it doesn't matter. We've had trainers come to us that are already experienced trainers. However, they don't get a free pass. It doesn't matter. What the biggest thing is for us is continuity. What the client hears on the phone is exactly what they see in the living room. Okay, there's no um, bait and switch. There's no phone call to get you hooked, and then a trainer shows up, and it just doesn't look or feel like the vibe that they got from the office. So it starts there. It starts from that very first contact. Once we enter the home, I would say one of the things that sets us apart the most is understanding that dog training doesn't have a damn thing to do with dogs. We educate humans. That's what makes a great dog.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Say that one more time. It has less to do with dogs than it does the human. Is that right?
Educated humans make great dogs. Okay. Look, we don't do any how without a why. Okay. When our clients, because the way we sell our training programs, they're for the life of the dog. The value is when you come here, you never pay for dog training the rest of your life because we don't withhold any information. You're going to know everything that we know. We don't withhold any information. They are as educated as they can be as a client. Okay. They know more than most dog trainers that are in business today. So we spend a tremendous amount of time teaching the humans. Once they understand that dog brain has like it, well, we got a million taglines. It's the same dog brain wrapped in a different package. Okay. The fundamentals of learning are basically the same. Now, breed specific, I'm not going to train a Malinois the same way I'm going to train a Frenchie. The process of learning is generally the same. The things that they need to get them there are a little bit different. Those are the nuances. Um, but setting aside the time that we spend with our trainers, the time we even bring in, this is crazy. So a little peek behind the curtains. When I tell you, so we educate our trainers, we have continuing education for our trainers. We've had yourself as a CE speaker for our staff. We even every year, every time we have any big staff turnover, I actually bring in an FBI body language expert that teaches our trainers on how to communicate, how to answer questions that haven't been asked yet, lie detection, uh, and how to have a conversation in a manner that's going to promote having the dog owner be on board and stay on board. That's the other thing is the touches after the training sessions. We don't just train and go, oh, let me know how it goes. Call me when you're ready. We don't leave the house without the next appointment on the schedule. There's accountability. There's a timeline. There's a set of goals that need to be met. They get homework notes. We have our own app that goes along with our training program. They can pull up our entire training program at a click on their phone. I mean, there's so many resources after the sale that they have to be successful.
So what I'm hearing is it sounds like others may offer you X number of sessions, whereas Shane and Sally Said So is partnering with you to get the results. The outcome is the point, not selling you 5 sessions.
You
Now, you
couldn't have said
definitely say, well, if we do this correctly, I expect us to get there in X period of time, and you guys know how to move that bar up or back, just like I'm having PT on my knee, depending on where I get in 2 sessions. I may be ahead of the initial phase, but at least we know where the path should be headed.
right.
If we're on target, retarget. So it sounds like you do a lot of that outcome based,
Yes.
more so than just this is what the cost is for X number of sessions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could show up at somebody's house 1,000 times. It's not going to change their dog's behavior. It's what they do when I walk out the front door that's going to change it. It's a matter of again, it's educating the humans and setting those expectations. So in our initial consult, yeah, they do get a general idea. It should take about this many once we've met the client, worked the dog, and we can give them an accurate assessment. Um, but the program is sold by Solve the Problem. And the way the training program is set up, it's commitment based. So as long as you're doing your homework, we keep coming.
And what would you say your breakdown of most of the problems that are presented to you from a pet owner are? Are there like two or three categories that you really see the most? And it's like 60% is this, 40, 30% is this, 10% is this, aggression versus fear. Versus, like what are you usually solving for? What's the big thing out there?
Fear and anxiety. Dogs are just big old scaredy cats sometimes. And a lot of times those behaviors are not necessarily, they're not taught by any means, but they are inadvertently unchecked. If a dog goes for a sock and you go to grab that sock and they go, yeah, everybody goes, oh, right. Well, the dog goes, oh, okay. That's the game. That can turn into all kinds of problems: resource guarding, aggression, fear-based aggression. Fear, and I'll tell you, aggression and fear aggression are different. We see maybe about 1,000 dogs a year between our actual clients and rescues and shelters and fosters that we assist along the way. In a year's time, we might see 5 dogs that are actual active aggression cases. The rest of them are just scared. Anxiety is the root of all evil, and dogs are riddled with it, not because of something that happened to them, but most of the time, what didn't happen. Having structure, having consistent communication. Um, Consistency, though, not in the sense of we eat at 5, we go in the crate at 6, we get out at 6. That's not consistency. Consistency is the rules go where you go. No matter who's in the house, no matter where you go, you could be on vacation. Sit still means sit, stay means stay, go to place means place. That's consistency. And lack of it
Great, great.
is the number one contributor to anxiety in dogs.
So, just a quick one here. You have been doing this since 16, so before pandemic, and on the other side, anxiety has been around before the pandemic. There was a suspicion, I don't you can tell me if you believe this is true or not, that once we had people adopting dogs, which happened a lot during that pandemic phase, these dogs got mentally trained that their owner was home a lot. And when that separation happened, there was more and more and more
Breach.
anxiety than we saw pre. So did you see a bigger bump in your anxiety calls with before having known before versus after pandemic? Is that a real thing, or you're like, it's always been there?
It's 1,000% a real thing. It's a billion
So it
percent.
amplified it a lot, or what? How
Absolutely.
would you say?
Well, so it came in 2 waves. Wave number one was everybody was stuck at home and realized that their dogs were butt heads. So we actually grew in COVID like 20%. Huge. We were busier than we've ever been. And
And you're saying during that time,
during, yeah, because
not just when people had, because the perception from a lot of us in the veterinary world were that the behavior stuff was either tolerated or we're living together in this environment of forced lockdowns or whatnot, and the dogs became so attached at that point that many of the problems expressed themselves once the go back happened. But
that
you
was
actually
the
grew
second wave.
beforehand,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
during.
Dude, we were doing
Okay,
consults
okay,
online, doing consults in the yard, doing consults on the other side of the house. I mean, you name it. We were going in hazmat suits, whatever the customer required to be safe
okay,
and reasonable.
gotcha.
So that was the first wave, though. The first wave was just now they're home 24/7 because most of the time, you get home at 5, you go to bed at 10, you've got kids, got school, they got practice, they got homework, you got a recital, you got a this. So the time that you're actually spending with the dog was very minimal, anyways. And so the behavior problems weren't as pronounced because you're only dealing with it for a few hours here and there. When everybody was stuck at home with their dogs, and they're like, "Oh my god, I got this. I got to solve this problem." And so, but to your initial comment, yes, absolutely. The second wave was enough separation anxiety cases for me to create a CE on it called quarantine and separation anxiety.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, that was that because they were not ready for that. The dogs weren't, you know, and
Right. Turned
everybody,
everything upside down
yeah,
for them.
one day, boom, everybody went to work, and the dog went, oh, the dogs weren't crate trained because we were home all day. There's no need for the dog to be in the kennel if I'm home all day. And now you shove them in a box and leave for 8 hours, and they freak out.
Yeah,
So
whole new world.
yeah, we've still got a couple, a few handful of cases that we're still dealing with, even now, that are like it's trickling down drastically. It's not very prevalent now, but they're still around.
Perfect. So I did want to touch on this because this is new and I just received this.
Oops, upside down.
You have a you have had it's called Ready Vet Go, specifically aimed at getting dogs to the veterinarian with some of these owners and dogs absolutely dread coming in.
Yes.
And we had a discussion that you've already had this available, but it just wasn't landing. People weren't really hopping in there, taking advantage of it. You were trying to make this because your time and going into a household and doing a full training session and hiring you is worth a ton of value when you have everything that you bring to the table with that pet being part of the family and solving those problems and bringing chaos to peace. That's a whole nother world. But is there a way that you could get something in the hands of folks that absolutely dread bringing their dog in because of these problems? And this is like a deck of cards. I have a pre-release.
Yeah.
I've looked through these. They're awesome. I got a little quote on here that one of the problems we have is if these owners are either embarrassed or it's so difficult to get their dog in, there's two sides of that coin that are really bad for the dog. One, they're only going to come in on very rare occasion, which means medical problems can build because that hesitancy to want to make that appointment. And then two, depending on how anxious they are, we really may not be able to do the complete exam that we're able to do on their other three dogs that they may have. And this one, we can't do it. So I can't feel the lump, the bump, or the things that would help me assess that dog. Both of those can end up in a medical situation that advances. So you have a very, really unique product here that creates a opportunity for them to hold something in their hand that will, within 52 cards, give them little things they can do that are directly focused at things with handling to get them used to that as they prepare to go to the veterinary office.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about how this works.
Absolutely. So in my entire life, professional, personal, whatever, it's all the same thing, revolves around serving veterinarians. Without veterinarians referring us like they do, I'd still just be Shane the dog trainer. So every single decision that I make has what can I do for you at the end of that decision. Having a program in place to teach dog owners how to deliver veterinary exam style handling in their home where the dog is most comfortable, it's quiet, it's relaxed, there's no stress, there's no anxiety. That original program was called Vetiquette. It was Vet Etiquette.
Okay.
That particular program has morphed into Ready Vet Go. The Ready Vet Go program is tremendously more interactive. We're going to launch this on November the 1st. Along with that deck of cards, there are 52 skills that each person in the world that's got a dog that goes to the vet needs to practice. And we're talking about everything from basic obedience skills all the way up to simulated shots, simulated eye drops, simulated taking a pill, desensitizing their feet, the tail, the undercarriage, the mouth, the head, the ears, everything that you have to touch. We teach dog owners taking their temperature under the arm. We're not going to do the other one for the dog owner, but the under the armpit version.
Gotcha.
On right now, there's going to be there's a website. It will be readyvetgo.ai is the website. Starting November the 1st, there'll be a $29.99 membership to the program. That program is going to unlock your membership portal. That membership portal will have each one of those 52 cards that you have in your hand.
So I was looking through these because they're color coded, and you have something called foundational,
Yep.
and then it goes from there. So I will show one of these. Just a
Yeah.
interesting one here is really quick, but as you continue to do these, or as I think your plan, if you're going to explain it, is that you'll do like maybe two or three of these a day, and it takes only a few minutes, but it's that repetitiveness and desensitization. So this one is basically
Oh, there you go. There you go. Lips to check.
head and mouth prep for lifting lips.
Yep. Check the teeth.
And checking the teeth. So you could imagine there are some dogs that will not allow us to do that, and we may be able to check their ears, but they could have something growing in their mouth, and unless we, unfortunately, sometimes these guys, we have to sedate them to do things like nail trims, and that's the only opportunity we get to look in their mouth, under their tongue, see if there's a growth going on in there or a broken tooth or something painful. So that one alone is, there's a whole stack, which might look, a bit daunting to start with, but the way you break it down and just getting a couple of these and kind of shuffling them up like a deck of cards, I think it's great. I think that's a really good way to introduce this program. And then you get the cards for $30, $29.99, but you also get a lot more, like a video. I've seen your example of a video example of how to do it's cartoon shown on the card for wiping the eyes, and this is really good. But beyond that, you have even more. So
Absolutely.
it's crazy value from what I'm seeing here.
Oh yeah, wait till you see the website, man. The website is going to be spectacular because we've got a digital version of each one of those cards in the website, but expanded. When you get behind the paywall, you're going to have an expanded explanation on how to teach those skills, how to troubleshoot those skills. So the object of the game is each day, whether you do it online or with the physical deck of cards, that $29.99 is going to cover your access to the website, and we're going to mail that deck of cards to that individual's home. But the idea is just like you meet a magician. They spread the cards. They go pick a card, any card, pick a card, any card, right? Same thing. You're going to pick a card, any card each day, and you work on those skills. And you shuffle the deck again, and the next day you pick another 3 cards and you try those skills out. The website will have follow-up and a backup. We're going to have an online community where people can talk to each other. We'll be on there ourselves to answer questions, to give advice, to troubleshoot. And then obviously, if it's a dog that's in our service area of North and soon to be South Carolina as well, then will be available to come to their home, and that's a separate fee and separate program, but still.
So Shane, off the record, I'll tell you this: my entrepreneur group that I'm in, they advise some of these card things. They're hotcake sellers right now, and decks of cards that are sales related. You got this objection. Here's how to handle it. They charge $79.99, and it's only the deck of cards. So you may be undercharging yourself here, but your dedication to getting the dogs what they need is where this really comes from. So, not trying to get you to increase your price or anything. However,
I need to re-record
for
that part.
for veterinarians, for people like me, now,
Yeah.
luckily, I have a knowledge base with you where you got me some of these kind of hot off the presses in the pre-launch phase.
Well, you help me do it.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of discussed this together, and I said, hey, this is really maybe this is the best way to get it in there and combine it. And you took just a couple of thought ideas and just you put the actual things together.
We
So
go.
you did all the work. I just did the back of the napkin work, and we kind of did some powwow thinking with some entrepreneur guys that I know.
Yeah.
But anyway, the if veterinarians like myself that don't have these right now, and they're interested in having these available for their clients because they're seeing the bloodhound who they bring in all the time, no problems, but their other dog at home, well, it's always difficult to get him in,
Yes.
and we want to get this in their hands. How do they get in touch with you and find out how to get some of these?
Easy to find because I'm everywhere. But
I know the first thing is just type Sally Said So into your Google, and you pop up right away. So.
Yep, SALLYSAIDSO.com. You can send an inquiry into the office, and the orders will be fulfilled immediately because the office will get it to me, and then whatever orders are placed will go out immediately. If I don't hand deliver them myself, then if it's somewhere close and I'm close by, then because I've got the truck loaded in, then we're ready. We got cards in places we shouldn't have cards.
I hear you. So the one comment that you made earlier, I found it hit through my mind because I happen to have seen you in your current car that you sometimes sleep in.
Yeah.
So you used to sleep in your car out of necessity in 2016, 17.
2009.
But now because of your places that you're heading to and going, and you're kind of a travel bug now, you have a much better sleeping arrangement in your it's a converted what's it called?
It's called a Mercedes. It's a Mercedes.
Yeah.
And me and my dog Lemmy travel all over the state of North Carolina, educating veterinarians, taking care of dogs, dog owners, shelters, rescues, which we don't charge, by the way. Our give back program, we probably do about $30,000 to $35,000 a year in free training for fosters, rescues, and shelters. We never charge them for training. Nobody's in shelter or rescue or foster to make money. They're there to save dogs' lives. And if I've got a few little tricks and gimmicks that'll help them do it faster and do it better, then why wouldn't we? So we actually have a program called Sally Said So to the Rescue, where we provide those free services for rescues and shelters and fosters.
Super. That's amazing. And then there are a couple other ways in the next few weeks that people can find you, because you're going to be November that 7th weekend, November 7th or so. I think it's the second weekend because the first weekend is like the first.
Yes.
At the North Carolina conference.
We'll be at NC.
And then the week after that will be the, hey, look at that. I don't know how I did that. and then the week after will be the South Carolina conference.
Correct.
In, where'd you say it was? It's
Spartanburg.
Spartanburg.
It's the Palmetto, South Carolina Vet Conference, yeah. And so next year we'll be moving into Greenville, Charleston, maybe Myrtle Beach, but definitely Charleston and Greenville are on our target list. We will have a trainer in those two areas next year.
Great. So if you happen to hear this from those locations and think, well, that's awesome, I would love to have Shane train, or Shane's trainers train my staff or my clients, but man, he's not here yet. He may be there before you know it.
Right. Speaking of staff, real quick, let me throw something out there real fast. For veterinarians that might see this, book a lunch and learn with us. Okay? We have the first time in, we have a get to know Sally Said So version where we go over the history of the company, philosophy of training, all of the perks and things that we have for veterinarians. We actually have a veterinarian loyalty program where we don't take it for granted. Even this far in, 16 years of veterinary referrals, and I still don't take it. At no point do we go, okay, whew, we've arrived, we got it locked down. We're constantly coming up with new stuff. So our veterinary loyalty program is a way for vets to earn points. We actually have a vet only section on our app. Those points are accrued by if you hand out our cards that day, you go in your app and click handed out cards. If you do a CE with me, you click I did a CE. If you share our content online, you click shared content, that accrues points. If you refer a client and they sign up for services, that accrues points. Those points are redeemable. You can get level 1 is a pizza party for your hospital. Second level is a food truck party for your hospital, where I park a food truck in front of your hospital and y'all can just go crazy. It's just for you. It's not open to the public. And the third is we take the entire staff. If you hit the third level of points, we take the entire staff to Top Golf, Drive Shack, to, what some other equivalent of entertainment as a thank you. So we're still trying to make it fun.
That's awesome. Last thing before I let you go,
Yes, sir.
I want to hear your best or worst, depending on how you look at it, story that you've had with your training. Like
Hold on
the
to you,
most
Rich.
memorable. Oh my goodness.
Dude. It's always the same. Every time I get asked this question, there is one that
The story. Okay, here we go.
a billion miles away from the second place. There's not even a question. I get this call, little old lady, show up at her house. And I'm talking about old lady. I'm talking about she probably owes Moses $5. All right. She's got a nightgown on that is exactly as old as she is, that has, to my eyes, gone see through, unfortunately. So that was the initial greeting at the door. Interesting moment. We walk in, dog is a disaster. She's got puppy pads. I guarantee you, there's 5,000 puppy pads in the floor, and they're all loaded. Like she hasn't pulled them up.
No.
Oh,
No.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
No.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it gets better. But wait, there's more.
Sounds like a episode of hoarding already.
Oh, yes, it was bad. It was so bad we had to do our sessions outside because she opened the door and the waft of urine just right. Now, I do a session 1, session 2. Potty training obviously was the number one priority of that particular session. I come back for the next session. She says, "Come with me." We walk out in the backyard. This lady hikes up her dress and starts peeing in the yard in front of me while she's explaining, "This is what I do every day to show the dog how to pee outside instead of inside." Dr. Munn, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Okay. I kid you not. She peed in front of me and said, "I make my dog watch me do this every day to show him how to pee outside."
I just had that Macaulay Culkin moment where I want to slap my face and my eyes bug out.
Dude, I can't. That happened 13 years ago, and nothing has even gotten close to that. That's the story I tell every time I get asked that question. That's the story.
It just brings up many more questions. Like, how many times have you done this and it not worked and you thought, I'm going to do it again?
Yeah. So that session ended with me writing her a check for the amount that she paid me for training and going, "Here you go. You can have that back. We're good."
One of the rare,
Never seen it.
I can't fix it.
No, that person was not fixable. It was. I'm even sitting now, just reliving it in the moment. Is just I can't believe what I saw, but that's out there, and those people have dogs, and we gotta fix them
As best we can.
as best we can.
Well, Mr. Shane, it has been great. I look very forward to handing a few of these out, get some clients headed your way to learn about this, and it'll help us out too. I
That's how to keep
appreciate you
you.
here today, and I will be seeing you because I will be at the NCVC
Yes,
this year.
sir.
So if not before then I'll see you then.
That's right. We'll see you at the conference.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Munn. You're the man.